Welcome to Digital Connections, where we bring in expert advice to connect you with the services and resources to build a successful business and ultimately to create the life of your dreams. This show is for entrepreneurs, business owners, and anyone interested in running a side hustle to their current 9 to 5. One episode at a time, we help you build a successful business through amazing digital connections. I'm your host, Nancee Johnson, a business owner and digital marketer. On my way here, I have found amazing resources that have helped me grow my business, and they can help your business thrive too. Everyone needs a friend in digital marketing because digital marketing is about connecting people. So my friends, because a primary portion of our audience are entrepreneurs, I know you are always on the hunt for the next greatest adventure. And I love to cover topics on various business opportunities. When I first began thinking about opening my own business, I looked into a lot of different concepts and ideas. At that point, I had a ton of things that I thought I liked to do, and I wanted to be able to do them all. And one of those opportunities that I looked at was day trading. And it was quickly evident that you had to be very careful in this environment. Unfortunately, there are too many scammers out there that are willing to sell you bad trading courses. On the flip side of that, there are actual high caliber trading courses and programs out there. And these are programs that are going to benefit you directly from learning from the pros as they show you profitable trading strategies and techniques. These schools and programs help students develop a true understanding of the markets, providing them with strategies to help them maximize profits. Additionally, they will always provide you with mentoring. And if they're worth the price that you pay, they will provide continued support after the classes have ended. I know this may be an option that is attractive not just to new entrepreneurs, but also as a secondary income stream to those of you that may own a business, or my people with a steady 9 to 5 that really want to like a nice, fun side hustle. So today I have invited two of the guys from S&P 500 Futures Trading Group to talk to us about their program. If and when I move forward with this adventure, these are the folks that I would go with. They've got a lot of knowledge, but what I particularly like about them is their authenticity. I've actually visited their trading room and I know what a fun group they are. But I also know how truly supportive of an environment that they've created. So S&P 500 Futures Trading Group was created by Vance in 2009. He obtained his first securities license in 1986 and has been an investor ever since. Over the years, he recognized that most of the public and common people didn't know how millionaires really traded. At the time, he had a friend that was looking for a valid trading group. So Vance has a deep desire to see people succeed, and he didn't want to see his friend or average people taken advantage of or see them waste thousands of dollars on a program that had no support. And this is how S&P 500 Trading Group was inspired. Vance created a transparent online community of people who could learn and trade together. He developed a simple and effective method to help people understand how the markets work and provide them with a support system to help them profit from the various patterns and trends of the market. Joining Vance today, who, by the way, is also known as Doc, we have Ed Gorman in the studio, who is one of the regular features trader on the floor with Doc. So Doc and Ed, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you very much for having us. I feel privileged.
Thank you, Nancee.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell me what S&P 500 Futures Trading Group, what is it?
S&P 500 Trading Group is a group, it's kind of an exclusive group or an exclusive country club, if you will, of people trading online, people who may have traded before or never traded before. They go through the training program, they learn how to manage risk in their trading, and then they trade together in a community environment where they support each other. We typically have a mentor that is running the group or facilitating the group each and every day, several hours a day, if someone desires. And they just work together with a common goal.
So I hinted at it in my introduction, but can you tell us a little bit about how this concept got started?
Absolutely. For many years, people have asked me how to trade because they know that I trade. And I've seen people go in different trading programs, come out of trading programs, and never really know how to trade. And then one day in 2009, I had a friend of mine who's a very successful person say, I've got a group of 25 people that know how to trade, basically, but we're looking for a good group to trade in. So these were guys who were already skilled in trading, but they were looking for a decent group to trade in. And they asked me to take a look at two different groups. I looked at the two groups and I said, well, I think maybe fraudulent was the nice term to use about these two groups. And they said, well, that's what we thought. And I promised my friend, I said, I promise you I'll find you a good group to trade in, a really good trading group. And I looked and looked and looked, and I looked at dozens of groups, and none of them were transparent. None of them offered the real group support. None of them had open communication within the group. And I just couldn't find a group for my friend. And I came back to him. I said, well, the bad news is I had to break my promise to you because I can't find you a group. The good news is I'm going to keep my promise. And if you like, I'll create a group for you. And I'll show you how to run it for 3 to 6 months. I'll mentor you guys in running the group, facilitating the group, moderating the group, and then you guys can take it over. And that's been over a decade now. So we've expanded the group. We decided that millions of people out there need something like this. And so we've just grown by leaps and bounds every year for the last decade.
Mm-hmm. So one of the frustrations for me when I began looking at this as an option was the overwhelm of information out there. So where is a good place to start for people?
That is a very interesting question. There is a lot of information out there, and there are a lot of places where you look where you'll get half the story or a quarter of the story mixed in with a lot of misinformation. A lot of times people will ask me, what's a good book to read about trading to get me started in trading? And I'll say War and Peace, or I'll say The Art of War, or something like that. Trading, to really get started, you have to find a good group, and that group should have a lot of elements to it. The first element is they should give you a common ground for trading, a common educational platform for trading. So whether they call themselves an academy, a school, or method, or whatever, they need to have common curriculum so everybody can trade the same. The next thing they need to have is group support, where people meet, talk openly, and that group support should be moderated or mentored, have somebody that kind of leads the group as it goes. But you shouldn't be following a guru and just clicking what they click on. You really need to learn money management yourself, and be in a good group supportive setting. The other thing that you need is when you're in a group setting and people are taking trades, you need the environment to be totally 100% transparent. In other words, you can't have people come on and say, well, I took a trade at 3 this morning. Sorry you missed it, but I made $1 million. You don't want to fall for those kinds of things. You want to see trades in action, followed all the way through to fruition. And then a fourth or another element that you really need to look for is, can I pick up the telephone and talk to somebody in that group? Can I talk to the CEO of the group? Or is this, something behind the scenes where I can only reach people by email and get frustrated? So you really need to be able to talk to somebody. And in our group, there are hundreds of people that you can talk to, chat with, and all those sorts of things. So these are all the elements that you really need to look out for.
Okay. All right. So one of the things that I heard a lot was, hey, trading is risky. So what is kind of the truth in that?
Well, everything's risky. You have risk on two different levels. If you're trading and you lose all your money, well, you lose all your money, you go make some money and start it over again. If you're talking about risk with your life and crossing a street, if you get hit by a bus, you may not be able to start all over again. So it depends on how you measure risk. But the trick to trading, this is a great question, Nance. The trick to trading is managing risk, learning to manage risk to the point where you don't destroy yourself. Managing risk, very important. That being said, things like the S&P 500 futures, things like commodities, those kinds of things, those financial instruments were actually designed to stabilize the economy. They're designed to take risk out of the economy. And everybody who is a business owner or a corporate business owner, no matter what genre of business they're in, needs to understand trading, because trading controls the commodities that control their businesses. And so commodities markets, futures markets, those things were meant to stabilize the markets and to give also people tools that they can speculate in and make money in. But they are risky. And moreover than teaching you to trade, we teach you to manage risk.
Mm. Yeah. And Ed, you and I were talking a little bit about how it's amazing that, basically the risk management skills that you obtain from trading, how it goes across the rest of your life in essence.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
it really does. Yeah, like for instance, I mean, number one, when you learn to trade with us, this kind of education works across the board with all other types of trading, stock, the Nasdaq, and so forth. I mean, this is index trading, so we are trading off of an index. We're price action traders. We call ourselves discount traders. So what happens in the end is we're trading what's right in front of us. You don't have that fear of you can only lose money if you're in a trade, right? And that's all managed according to the risk reward ratio that we use. But like overnight, what can you do about a stock that when the market's closed, if it drops, you're going to lose your money, right? And there's nothing you can do about it at that point. So that's what really attracted me to this. I mean, okay, I was scared to death about stocks. Never thought of doing it. I heard this on the radio, held the number for a couple of weeks, and then called. And I said, okay, set me up for Monday. Got home from work, checked it out. By the time I was done the 2 hour session, and I'm kind of one of those people that, and I can be pretty spontaneous when I see something I like. And when I want something I like, I get it. I don't care what it takes, right? So after the session ended, I turned around to my friend who met up with me to watch with me. And I said, I have no clue what's going on here, but I'm doing this. And he laughed. He laughed. Yeah, everybody laughs at me when I tell him that. But in the end, the risk you take in a lot of your ventures out there is nothing compared to this. It really isn't. We start off building a track record first. We move on to money, but we start with a certain amount in our account, and we keep our risk to reward ratio the same as we did in simulator, building our track record. And as we build up our account, we build up our contracts, and the contract's the value of each point that you're making or losing. Okay. So as you build up your account, the ratio stays the same. So your losses are never greater, and neither are your winnings as far as percentage, but in dollar value, they are.
So, and it almost sounds like, I think the risk comes in when you're one of those people that just kind of goes out there and like, you bet it all basically. Right. And you're just sort of like looking for the excitement, and, it's more about consistency, I think, with you guys than it is about,
It really is.
the big win. Mm-hmm.
It really
Mm-hmm.
is. When I first went live, I went actually against Doc's judgment. I went live early after 5 weeks, and I spent about 9 days adrenaline trading and blew out my account. Okay, I don't mind telling people that. I mean, I had a blast doing it. Okay, but then it was time to get back on the horse. I called him up. In fact, he answered the phone call with, "So you blew out your account." Like, how'd you know that? He's like, "You're calling me." So he gave me a trading diet to go by, and from there, it was he gave me this thing: one trade per day, win or lose. Do that for 2 weeks in simulator, then talk to me. Did that, did good, did real good, because now I have to evaluate what I'm doing. Pay attention, follow the rules, patience, discipline. That's part of the game here. I mean, you really gotta when you're evaluating a trade, you have to just follow the rules, learn the education well, and build consistency. And that's the idea why we have the same risk to reward ratio the whole time that you're doing that, is so you have a basis to work off of.
Mm-hmm.
So, and in essence, what happened was I did really good those 2 weeks in sim. And then he said, go ahead and do the same thing live, one trade per day, win or lose. I didn't do as good, but I was up both weeks. And from there, okay, less trading, more money. I probably took 40 trades in the first 9 days. It took me to blow out my account, right? But I did better just sitting back and following the rules.
Interesting. Doc, maybe you can tell me, do you, doing something like this, do you have to keep a day job? I mean, is this something that you can actually expect to make a living at?
Well, over the course of time, you can expect to make a living at it if that's your goal. You have to keep your goals realistic. I always let people know that they probably shouldn't have, I'm going to replace my day job in 3 months as your goal, because that puts too much stress on you, and that puts too much emotional strain on your decisions that you're making. And we want to teach you to make good, sound decisions that are measurable and that are calculable and that are consistent. And when you try to rush it, it tends to not have as good of a result. But we have people that they trade anywhere from, I just want to make a little bit of money because it's a hobby. I belong to an exclusive country club and I love all the people there, and they do it for that reason because they're a part of something bigger than themselves. And then we have people, that have just started trading because they want to make much more of a percentage on their money rather than making 5% in real estate or 10% if they're lucky in real estate. They can make 25, 40, 100%, 200% on their money, on their portfolio. And then we have people that really press to make it their actual job, and they want to get into the industry. They want to learn the front end, the back end. So we have it's the whole gamut. We have a lot of people, but I would never set your expectations as get rich quick. That's a recipe for disaster, both to your bank account and to your mental account.
Interesting. Well, so on that note, then, are there certain people that make better traders than others?
Yeah, people that can follow the rules. A lot of times you'll hear people say things like, oh, I need to take the emotion out of trading. That's impossible. You can't take the emotion out of trading. What you can do is you can take the emotion out of your behavior. So don't try to change your emotions, change your behaviors. And then a lot of times your emotions will follow. So the kind of person that is successful is the one who is open to self-judgment. You have to look at yourself in the mirror and claim responsibility. I took that trade. It went south on me. Did I make a good decision? Yes or no? If you made a good decision, then you make the next time you're in that same situation, you make the same decision. So a person really has to be able to look at themselves in the mirror and be honest with themselves. And frankly, that's a lot of our training is people because that's what the people have a hard time with is the mental aspect of it. So most of our training is to get you over the mental humps and to teach you to be that kind of person. So if you say, well, I'm not disciplined and I don't take responsibility, well, trading will actually help you rectify that. It's kind of like the tail wagging the dog.
Interesting. Yeah. All right. Well, so let's delve a little bit deeper into the business of trading. So tell me, what is the king of financial markets and trading?
In my opinion, futures is the king of financial markets and trading futures. And a futures contract is just something that says, I'm going to buy something from you in the future at a given price, or I'm going to sell you something in the future at a given price. And in terms of businesses, large corporations, let's say you own a company that builds homes and you need lumber. Well, if the lumber prices are fluctuating wildly, or if you can't get the lumber, then your business is at risk and your customers are at risk. But if you had a way to tell the lumberjack, hey, I'm going to buy lumber from you 3 months from now, and I'm going to buy 100 tons of lumber at this price, that's a futures contract. They're meant to stabilize the markets. So understanding futures contracts, you'll understand all the markets of the world, including currencies, gold and silver, cryptocurrencies, sugar, oil, you name it, it's attached to futures markets. Futures markets are king. And to understand any other market, if you'll start with futures markets first, you'll be the king of trading.
Interesting. Well, so you mentioned something there that sort of caught my attention. So cryptocurrencies. So tell me how that sort of relates to futures trading. I'm not sure I quite get the connection there.
Well, almost everything that you can trade, they create a futures market for. They create a speculative market for those kinds of things. And right now, cryptocurrencies, though that's not our primary focus, is becoming more and more mainstream all the time. In fact, just in February of this year, the Chicago Board of Exchange, they created an ETF or a futures type trading platform for Ethereum, which is a type of cryptocurrency. You have Bitcoin, then you have Ethereum. Ethereum is like number 2, right, in market cap. They created this entire mainstream market so that institutions, the institutions who the names of are now investing in this in cryptocurrency, and they create futures markets for that. And if you start off with the S&P 500 and you understand how that works, that's what we trade mostly. You can understand currency markets. And as a side note, we do have a new side thing to our company where we have $1 million cryptocurrency account, and you can watch the managers, and I'm one of them. The managers of that account actually trade $1 million account. Where else can you get that, right? So it's a little side thing that we do because people are so interested in cryptocurrency, and every day I have dozens of people ask me about cryptocurrency. So I said, well, rather than you go get scammed somewhere, we'll actually show you with $1 million account, $1 million traders. So
wow.
Yeah.
So now when you're talking about learning to do this, so could you potentially learn to do this on YouTube?
Well, sure, you can learn to do it on YouTube. You have education, and then you have quality of education, right? If you needed an appendectomy done, or if you needed throat surgery done, would you go to a doctor that learned how to do it on YouTube? Or would you go to somebody who went to a very well-known medical school and then had the best mentors in the business and all of that? The answer is you can learn a lot of little concepts on YouTube, but often you'll see them misapplied, which will hurt you more than help you. Because then when you go to a real trading group, they have to undo all of that learning in order for you to then continue and be taught right. And the thing on YouTube that's missing is the mentorship. You can't just look at a guru and follow along and that sort of thing. You really need to be in the environment actually doing it. For example, you can't learn how to play baseball by reading the rules book, right? You have to get out on the field to play baseball. And what do all baseball players have? They have coaches, right? What do all professional tennis players have? They have coaches. What did all the doctors have, or electricians, all these other people have? They all have coaches and mentors. And that's what's missing in a environment where you just watch a video. You can't interact with it. So the quality of training needs to be elevated with that one-on-one interaction, or that 1-on-500 interaction.
And all of those coaches have had coaches at one point.
Yeah. Well, and Ed, how long have you been with the group?
Just over about 6 years, 2 months now. April 2015, I joined.
Nice.
Within 3 weeks, I managed to get everybody in the Portland area here and get them to meet up with me somewhere. Doc found out. He's like, "Oh, great! You're the meetup captain for Portland, then." I'm like, "Huh?" Didn't even know how to trade yet, and I've already got a group in town, right?
That's great.
Yeah. Talk about jumping the gun.
Right. Well, so Doc, I've heard you mention capital preservation before. Can you tell me kind of what that is and why it's important to what we're talking about?
Absolutely. Your capital is basically your investment, and you need to learn to protect your investment. And so capital preservation is just protecting the money you have invested. It's risk management. It's much easier to make money when you can preserve the capital than to make money and make up capital that you've lost. You will lose capital and then you will gain capital, right? But you have to keep a balance. Capital preservation is one of the biggest things in risk management that you can ever talk about. And you've heard it before. Your father or your mother may have said, hey, look, kid, a penny saved is a penny earned, right?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we have a really cool video called inversion thinking, and it's a paradigm shift. A lot of times people look at things from the wrong angle, or they look at things from a decent angle, but they can look at it from a different angle. And capital preservation is one of those things that you look at from a different angle. For example, a lot of people say, hey, doc, how can I make 10% on my money? Guaranteed. I said, well, that's easy. Every place you go shopping, ask for a 10% discount. Right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So what's the difference between saving 10% and making 10%? It's the same thing.
Right.
So capital preservation, once you start learning, the application is a little more complex than that, but not much. If you can learn to preserve your capital and save your money in trading, then you reap greater rewards on the back end, and that's what we focus on.
Well, and I think that is actually one of the things that really attracted me to the way that you guys do things, is that is evident that it is the basis for what you guys do, right? So speaking of that, how would somebody go about connecting with you guys and getting engaged? Because I know I got to go onto the floor with you guys and experience this firsthand, and I think it's just one of the amazing benefits that you guys provide to people that are interested in finding out more.
Right.
So where does somebody go to engage with you guys?
Well, that's pretty simple. Well, we have a 800 number, 888-646-8787. That's how you would reach the call center. They're there to schedule you, and you will be handed off to a representative of the group. I am one of the reps. You could always ask for me, but if there's many good reps in this. Every one of the reps are seasoned traders. All of the moderators are definitely seasoned traders. But you could get a hold of us there. We have a website that's sp500trader.com. And that's the other way. There's a form on there you can fill out if you wish. Probably better to speak to somebody. And when you call in, so we do this Monday through Friday. We have 2 separate sessions that you can schedule for, and those are at 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so you pick a day, you pick a time, which time slot, and we'll get you scheduled, and you'll be handed off to a professional rep.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really nice the way that we work it. We kind of do business the old-fashioned way, face to face, and actually talk. Right. Some people like to go fill out forms. Me, you make a phone call, you go take a look. We invite people to our back end to see what we do, so that they know that it's totally transparent, no funny business. It's just a professional environment. It's really nice. And then you're given one rep that guides you through the process to decide, hey, is trading for you or not? And what are your goals? So that's really nice. We don't bounce you around every time you call. It's not like calling the airlines where every time you call in, you're talking to a different rep, right? You get a, here in the U.S., you get a U.S. representative that walks you through everything step by step. And it's a wonderful experience.
It is. It really is. Yeah. So is there anything else? Because we are almost out of time, but is there anything else that you guys want to add that my listeners should know before they call you?
Well, I just want to thank you for having us on board. We want to get more and more involved in, one of the first things that we noticed when we first got involved is that in 2009, there were a lot of lot of hocus pocus kind of things going on the internet. And we kind of wanted to distance ourselves from that. And then now podcasts are the thing, and YouTube is the thing. And so we're more and more getting into those arenas rather than keeping it quite so exclusive. We were just exclusively radio and exclusively referral basis, a very exclusive club of people. And then we're just really trying to reach out to the people that really need it. Really, take a look. And you know what? If you're looking at something else, if you're saying, well, I don't want to be a futures trader. My Uncle John lost his house with futures trading, right? And you say, yeah, I want to trade gold. And you want to know a little bit about gold? Well, call in, talk to Ed, say, hey, I'm thinking about trading gold and I'm looking at this company. Can you look at it for me? We'll look at it for you. And it can go all the way up the chain, right on up to the CEO. We will find somebody that knows about the program that you're looking at, and we will help you establish. We don't care who you do it with, who you make your decisions with, who you marry, just as long as you marry the right person for you. And that's what we look at. And we're just very clean group. So we just enjoy helping people.
Yeah, for sure. Ed, anything to add?
Well, all I could say is back to the point. In the end, one thing I do know, if I know anything at all, is if you're trying to do this by yourself, good luck. Especially if you haven't ever traded before. Okay. I got involved in this, and after a while I realized, I'm like, wow, without an education doing this and a good one, there's just no way I'd still be doing this now.
Yeah.
And this is what I do. I do this and I rep. I have the rest of the day to myself, get to play around with my own projects and enjoy myself. I have a recording studio that does, my little side thing, just fun. Whatever you want to do, sky's the limit. You can make this just part of your retirement. You can, add to your retirement. Remember, multiple income streams. You don't just have to pick one thing. The idea is to span your horizons. And if you take a look at this, you like it, great, we'll help you out. If not, and you don't like it, well, don't just ghost us. Just tell us. We're not here to push you into anything.
Yeah.
It's a great pathway. It's a great pathway to lifestyle change. And I think, I don't know, I don't want to speak for Ed, but I think in the last 6 years, there's been a big lifestyle change. Right, Ed?
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
And he's experienced it. And it's not all been a bed of roses constantly. We're very realistic. But
working with you can be a little fun, huh?
Working with me can be a little fun. I'm a taskmaster sometimes.
But I've seen Doc rant and just go off in a session and get on top of the traders, even myself included. But that's the reason why, because he cares about you and your money. So, and I'm the same way. I mean, I just a few Fridays ago, I think I yelled at the group about something it was, but it's because we care. We want you to succeed. We're not here just to play games. We're here to succeed in trading and whatever other aspects of our life, because this does transfer throughout your lifestyle.
And it really is a family of people that love each other, and we act like a family too. So
I definitely picked up that on my visit for sure. Yeah. All right. Well, before we take off today, I want to leave our listeners with our digital marketing tip of the day. So I have created a new URL for our listeners, and this is for our current tip of the day. So every time we share a new tip, I'm going to redirect this URL so it takes you to whatever resource I think will be most helpful for you. So drum roll, the new tiny URL is tinyurl.com DC tip of the day. So today you'll find a link to get to Google Console. So most of you have heard of Google Analytics, and you probably use it for your business too. And by the way, if you don't, you should be. But the one place that a lot of businesses seem to seem not to leverage is Google Console. And this is a huge miss because Google Console gives you tools and reports that not only help you measure your site traffic and performance, but it also helps you fix issues and automatically moves you up in Google in the Google algorithms. So check it out. Go to tinyurl.com DC tip of the day. So a huge thanks to my guests today, Vance Cast and Ed Gorman from S&P 500 Futures Trading Group. You can find them at sp500trader.com. Please make sure to follow us, subscribe, and like us wherever you get your podcasts. You can find this episode and previous shows along with contact information for all our guests and for me on our website at www.digitalconnections.us. Have a great week and tune in next time for another amazing digital connection for your business.